Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. I'm Utsaf Parekh and I'll take you through the top 50 stories of the day. Let's begin. Russia's defense ministry has signed a contract with the Akhmat group of Chechen special forces. This contract brings them under the control of Russia's defense minister, Sergei Shoigu. This comes after Russia's Wagner private military group refused to sign the same contract. Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin accused Shoigu of not being able to manage military formations. Meanwhile, Russia's defense ministry reported that its forces repelled multiple waves of attack from Ukraine. Russian forces drove back Ukrainian troops who were headed towards the Donetsk region. Russia also downed an unmanned speedboat which attempted to attack a scout ship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet. Meanwhile, Ukraine claimed that its troops advanced over a kilometer near the battered city of Bakhmut. South Africa's BRICS representative Anil Suklal said that the BRICS countries are trying to find a solution to the Russia-Ukraine war. He added that BRICS members are working with the two countries to try and bring an end to the crisis. Meanwhile, at least 6 African countries, including South Africa, will have their officials visit Russia and Ukraine as part of the mediation efforts. Russia has detained a 51-year-old American, Michael Travis Leak. This is for allegedly running a drug-dealing racket. Leak, who's a musician and a former paratrooper, appeared in a Russian court for his hearing on Sunday. U.S. embassy officials stationed in Moscow attended the hearing. The Russian court has ordered the American to remain in custody till the 6th of August this year. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has vowed to strengthen strategic cooperation with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Kim promised to, quote-unquote, hold hands with Putin to strengthen cooperation on their shared goal of building a powerful country. The North Korean leader's message came today on Russia's National Day. Iranian leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has said that the West cannot stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. However, Khamenei added that Iran will cooperate with the International Atomic Energy Agency. IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi had recently said that Iran cooperates with only a fraction of nuclear inspection requirements. Israeli opposition leader Yair Lapid has testified in Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's corruption trial at a court in Jerusalem. Lapid is also Israel's former Prime Minister and one of Netanyahu's main political rivals. Netanyahu has been charged with fraud and breach of trust. Netanyahu and his wife Sarah face allegations of receiving expensive and unlawful gifts from an Israeli Hollywood producer and an Australian billionaire. A teenager in the U.S. state of Colorado was fatally shot by a police officer on Sunday. Colorado officials released body cam footage of the incident. After an alleged robbery, 14-year-old Jordell Richardson was tackled by a police officer and shot in the abdomen. The teenager was taken to the hospital, but he died from the bullet wound. The police officer said that he shot the minor in self-defense after Richardson pulled out a weapon. However, it was later determined that the child was holding a toy pellet gun, which looked like a handgun. A portion of a major U.S. highway, the Interstate 95, collapsed in Philadelphia. A vehicle parked underneath the freeway caught fire, causing the bridge to collapse. Firefighters doused the flame and no injuries were reported. Restoration work has begun on the collapsed highway. The Central American country of Honduras opened its embassy in China's capital, Beijing, on Sunday. China's Foreign Minister Qin Gang and his Honduran counterpart, Eduardo Reyna, attended the ceremony. Meanwhile, Beijing opened its own embassy in Honduras a week ago. This comes after Honduras broke off ties with Taiwan in March this year. The first cargo of discounted Russian crude oil has arrived in Pakistan's Karachi. This is according to Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. The move is part of a new deal struck between Islamabad and Moscow. Sharif says that this marks the beginning of a new relationship between Pakistan and Russia. Montenegro's Socialist Party has won the most number of seats in a snap parliamentary election. Polls show that the Europe Now movement has won over 25% of the vote. This is on the basis of early projections. Polls also say that out of 15 parties and alliances that took part in the vote, 9 are entering parliament. A third of men in Germany say they find violence against women to be acceptable. This is according to a new survey. About 33% of men between 18 and 35 said it was acceptable if a man's hand, quote-unquote, slipped during an argument and with their female partner. Former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi has died at the age of 86. He had been suffering from leukemia and had recently developed a lung infection. The four-time Prime Minister was Italy's flamboyant media mogul. Berlusconi described himself as the Jesus Christ of politics. However, his career is marked by a series of political, financial, and personal scandals. A bus carrying wedding guests crashed in Australia's New South Wales state. At least 10 people have been killed and 25 have been injured. The driver of the bus has been arrested. Mount Mayon, the Philippines' most active volcano, began spewing lava on Sunday. This prompted the evacuation of thousands of people. Thousands have been put on high alert as there is the possibility of a violent explosion. Cyclone Biporjoy seems to have changed its path. The cyclone was initially headed towards the Pakistan coastline. It's now predicted to have moved slightly east towards the coast of the Indian state of Gujarat. Cyclone Biporjoy has already developed into an extremely severe cyclonic storm. It's expected to cause flooding, damage public property, and crops. Germany says that climate activists from the group The Last Generation have allegedly committed 580 criminal offenses. This comes weeks after the German police carried out raids targeting activists from the climate advocacy group. Members of the group have been resorting to methods of protest that are deemed controversial. This includes gluing themselves to the road. The United Arab Emirates is turning its focus towards restoring coastal mangroves in a fight against climate change. Tropical mangrove forests are a complex ecosystem. They thrive in inhospitable, hot, muddy, and salty conditions. The UAE has been planting mangrove trees since its founding in the 1970s. The UAE will host COP28, the climate summit, in December. Thousands of people in France demonstrated against the exploitation of sand for industrial purposes. The protesters traveled about 30 kilometers on cycles. The demonstration was launched at the call from a group of environmental activists. Financial firm UBS has formally completed the takeover of Credit Suisse. The Swiss giant now has a balance sheet of $1.6 trillion. According to reports, this is the biggest banking deal since the 2008 financial crisis. In March this year, UBS agreed to acquire Credit Suisse for over $3 billion. Meanwhile, UBS is set to impose new restrictions on Credit Suisse bankers. It has come up with a list of nearly 24 rules. These could include cutting back on clients from countries like Libya, Russia, and Sudan. Credit Suisse bankers could also be prohibited from launching new products without the approval of UBS managers. The Australian bank Westpac will cut about 300 jobs. The layoffs represent about 0.8% of the bank's workforce. Westpac will reportedly lay off people from its consumer and business banking divisions. This comes despite Westpac recording strong profit growth during its quarterly earnings. Goldman Sachs expects China's property sector to remain weak for years. It added that the sector's problem would continue to drag down the country's economic growth. Over the past 2 years, China's property sector has been dealing with a severe debt crisis. Many property developers defaulted on payments as they struggled to sell apartments and raise funds. Daily sign-ups for Netflix have jumped in the US. This was within the first few days of the company's password sharing crackdown. The crackdown took effect from May 23rd. Reports show Netflix recorded nearly 100,000 daily sign-ups on both May 26th and May 27th. Reports say Twitter has refused to pay its Google Cloud bill. Their contract is up for renewal this month. Last year, Twitter signed a multi-year contract with Google. This was for fighting spam and protecting accounts on the social media platform. In March, Amazon had threatened to withhold advertising payments to Twitter. This was also over the networking firm's outstanding payments to Amazon's cloud services. Meanwhile, Elon Musk has said Twitter content creators can now earn from advertisements served in their replies. However, this is limited to verified creators. Musk added that the first payment block totals $5 million. His move comes as the company struggles to retain advertisers on its platform. Sam Altman, the CEO of ChatGPT maker OpenAI, says he's optimistic to see global coordination on artificial intelligence. Altman is positive that countries will work together to reduce existential risks arising from AI. He said this in a seminar during his recent trip to Japan. Altman is scheduled to meet prominent business officials, including SoftBank's Masayoshi Son, during his Japan visit. A US court has ruled that Apple and Amazon cannot be excused from an antitrust lawsuit. The lawsuit accuses them of artificially inflating the price of iPhones and iPads sold on Amazon's platforms. The suit was filed by US residents who bought new Apple devices from Amazon beginning in January 2019. Researchers at the Arizona State University have developed a new robot called Andy. It's a thermal dummy that sweats, breathes, and walks. Andy has 35 different surface areas. These are individually controlled with temperature sensors, heat flux sensors, and pores to sweat. The researchers will use Andy to study the impacts of extreme heat on the human body. Moving to sports, in cricket, Australia beat India by 209 runs to win the World Test Championship final on Sunday. The match was played at London's iconic Oval Stadium. India were chasing 444 runs in the second innings. However, India were bowled out for just 234 runs on the fifth day of the match. This was India's second consecutive defeat in the WTC final. Meanwhile, India were fined 100% of their match fees for a slow over rate by the International Cricket Council. Winners Australia were also docked 80% of their match fees for the same reason. India's batting opener Shubman Gill was fined an additional 15% on top of the match fee charges. This was after Gill took to social media to criticize an umpiring decision made against him in the second innings of the WTC final. In football, Manchester City beat Inter Milan 1-0 to clinch the UEFA Champions League trophy. The match was played in Istanbul's Ataturk Olympic Stadium in Turkey. City's Rodri fired home the only goal of the hard-fought match in the 68th minute. With the win, Manchester City secured their first ever treble. Meanwhile, City's Pep Guardiola became the first head coach to win 2 European trebles. He claimed his first treble in 2009 as the head coach of Barcelona, when he won the La Liga, Copa del Rey and the Champions League. In tennis, Novak Djokovic won the French Open final on Sunday. Serbia's Djokovic beat Norway's Kasper Ruud 7-6, 6-3, 7-5 on the clay court. Djokovic clinched a record 23rd Grand Slam title. The Serbian was tied with Spain's Rafael Nadal at 22 titles before Sunday's win. Djokovic is now the only male player to have won each of the 4 Grand Slam titles at least 3 times. The Grand Slam titles are the Australian Open, French Open, US Open and Wimbledon. Meanwhile, Poland's Iga Świątek also lifted the French Open title. She beat unseeded Czech Karolina Muchova 6-2, 5-7, 6-4 in a thrilling final. This was Świątek's 4th Grand Slam title and a back-to-back French Open win. In hockey, the Indian women's team clinched their maiden Junior Asia Cup title on Sunday. The tournament was hosted in Japan. India beat South Korea 2-1 in a gripping final. India's forward Anu scored first in the 21st minute. South Korea came back in the 24th minute with a goal from Se-yoon Park. Then India's Neelam scored the winning goal in the 40th minute. In badminton, India's mixed doubles pair of Rohan Kapoor and Sikki Reddy clinched their title at the Denmark Masters on Sunday. They beat the Danish duo of Mads Vestergaard and Christine Busch 21-16, 21-17 in straight sets. This is the Indian duo's 4th mixed doubles title this season. India's Murali Srishankar clinched the bronze medal at the men's long jump at the Paris Diamond League. He registered an impressive jump of 8.09 meters. He was the only Indian athlete to have a podium finish at the Paris meet. In basketball, Denver Nuggets beat Miami Heat to take a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals Series. Denver downed Miami 108-95 in Game 4 of the 7-match set. They are just 1 win away from being crowned this year's champions. Denver's Nikola Jokic put up 23 points to secure the win. The two teams will now face each other again on Tuesday. If Denver win, they will clinch their first ever NBA championship. In boxing, Floyd Mayweather's exhibition match with John Gotti III ended in a massive all-out brawl. The referee disqualified Gotti in the 6th round for holding Mayweather. Then Gotti hurled abuses at Mayweather and started swinging. That's when members from both the camps jumped into the ring. This spiraled into a free-for-all melee. However, both boxers were escorted to their respective locker rooms safely. Let's move on to entertainment. In the Tony Awards, the 2023 Tony Awards were a scriptless affair owing to the Writers Guild of America strike. Actor Ariana DeBose kicked off the ceremony with a short skit without any words. This was followed by a wordless dance performance. Moreover, the presenters operated without a script or a teleprompter. The Los Angeles Greek Film Festival announced the winners of its 2023 Orpheus Awards. The annual festival showcases films from Greece and Cyprus. The Best Fiction Feature Award was won by the film titled Listen. The Best Documentary Award went to the film The Other Half. The ceremony took place in West Hollywood in California. Actor Amber Heard will be launching her new film at the Taormina Film Festival. The film is titled In the Fire. It will premiere at the festival on the 24th of June. The 69th edition of the festival will take place in Sicily from the 23rd of June to the 1st of July. The Tokyo International Film Festival has named its jury president. German filmmaker Wim Wenders will head this year's competition jury. Wenders' ties to Japan date back to his 1985 documentary Tokyo Ga. He made the documentary as an homage to classic Japanese director Yasujiro Ozu. Country music singer Jimmy Allen has been dropped by record labels after his second sexual assault lawsuit. A statement from the label BBR Music Group noted that he's no longer an active artist on its roster. Allen was earlier suspended by his label after being sued for rape and sexual assault by his former female manager. Late rapper Takeoff's mother has sued the Houston bowling alley where he was shot and killed. His mother has filed a negligence lawsuit against the venue. She's seeking more than $1 million in monetary relief. The rapper was shot multiple times on the 1st of November last year. K-pop band BTS's singer J-Hope has dropped a rock version of his solo debut title track. The song is called Arson. It featured in J-Hope's debut solo album named Jack in the Box. The song comes as BTS are celebrating their 10th anniversary. aespa have made history as the first Korean band to perform at the Governor's Ball Music Festival. The all-girl group took over the main stage at the New York Festival. They performed 10 songs. Some other artists who performed at the festival include singer Lizzo and rapper Ice Spice. Wildfires in Canada haven't dampened the spirits at the Banff World Media Festival that opened yesterday. Banff is a resort town which lies in the western province of Alberta. Organizers have assured people that there's no harmful air pollution in Banff. No changes have been made to the scheduled programming of the annual TV festival. The event will continue till the 14th of June. Actor and activist Jane Fonda has received the Harry Belafonte Voices for Social Justice Award. She was given the award at the Tribeca Festival in New York. The 85-year-old actor is known for supporting various causes such as Black Lives Matter and Native American rights. That's all for this episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.